The number one thing that you can do to improve your sex life is actually learning touch skill. When most people go to touch each other, I watch them completely fumble. Most men, and women also, touch sort of like they're touching their buddy, like, hey. Well, I have news that isn't always the most arousing way to touch someone. So the first thing that I tell people is to notice the levels of touch. So the first level is actually before you even get to the skin. One of the best ways to improve touch skill is by noticing the different layers of touch. So the first layer of touch is actually energy. It's before you even get to the skin. So you can try this on your own arm. Simply entering into the body slowly to where you feel a difference, like a sensation or a tingling or maybe heat happening. So feeling that layer. And then the next layer is the hair. So moving into the hair. So you're still not touching the skin, you're just noticing the hair. Feeling that. To the skin, the next layer. And then into a layer called the fascia. The fascia is between the muscle and the skin. And it's a slippery layer, so you can actually slide the skin over the fascia. Feeling that layer. And into the muscle. So the next layer is the muscle. You can squeeze, you can knead on the muscle. And then finally the bone. So on bone you can compress around the arm to really feel the bone. You can do this anywhere on the body, but this really gives you an awareness of these different layers. The bone, muscle, fascia, skin, hair, and then the energy, or heat off the body. In massage therapy school, I learned this through palpation skills. So palpation is something that you want to develop in your hands, which gives you that sensitivity to touch. Another way to develop palpation skill is taking like a Bible or there's another book called A Course in Miracles, some book with very thin pages, and putting a hair underneath the page, turning one page over, and then seeing if you can feel with the tip of your finger that hair in the page. And turning another page, and you still feel the hair. Another page, and keep turning pages until you can't feel it anymore. And then each day, turning another page, so that you're developing the skill to feel this through the pages, and you can add more and more and more pages. You can try it on each different finger to see which fingers have the most sensitivity. For me, for example, my index fingers have the most sensitivity. I can feel the most with those fingers. So you can learn also like where you have the most sensitivity. Another really great palpation skill or something to improve your touch skill is using a balloon. So this is really good for, say, you're working with the anal tissue or deep inside the vaginal tissue. And what's important to note is that if you poke into a balloon, the balloon is going to pop. But if you gently press into the balloon, it has a lot of flexibility and a lot of give, and you can actually go all the way to the other side of the balloon if you gently press into this, as opposed to poking in. So you can practice with a balloon, just gently pressing in, seeing and feeling where those levels of resistance are, and seeing where you can go a little further or where you might need to back off. And our skin tissue is a lot like this, especially around the anal area. Another thing that's important when you have touch skill is how present you are. So say, for example, you're off thinking about something else. You're thinking about your bills, or you're thinking about other things that are going on in your life, and you're not very present with a person. Well, that translates in your hands, obviously. You're going like, I'm thinking about whatever, You're not very present with the person, as opposed to going, what's the sensation of their skin feel like? What's the temperature feel like? What do all these things, how does this feel? And oh wow, this person is really beautiful, and what am I feeling here? All of those things allow you to come into the moment. And coming into the moment then brings more pleasure, both for you, because you're feeling with your hands, or you're looking in your partner's eyes and you're really noticing what's happening between you. So there's more pleasure there, but also more pleasure for your partner, because they can sense what's going on in your hands. Another thing, and one of my biggest peeves, is a touch that has like this hesitancy to it, a touch that's not sure what it's doing. It doesn't have confidence. So really having confidence in your hands, having this sense of, I know what I'm doing, really thinking that, even if you don't, that, wow, I'm confident, I'm here, I can hold you. So those types of things, as opposed to like, especially when you're touching genitals, that you touching them all like kind of delicately and tentatively, it can be really annoying. So coming into a touch that really has power and has strength to it, and that's really present and grounded in confidence. Another important key to touching is variety. So as you're improving your touch skill and you've got some of these things down, you can start playing with variety. When I was in acting training, I actually learned this technique called Le Bon. And Le Bon in acting training has different energies. So like a Le Bon energy might be a glide. A glide would be a type of energy that you're sending out with your voice or with your body. And a glide, for example, is a slow, light, and direct energy. So you're gliding. So you can also apply all of the Le Bon energies to touch. So you have a glide, which would be a slow, light, and direct touch. Now if you change that to heavy, slow, and direct, you have a press, which is a much different touch. You're actually pressing in. You can go from slow, light, and direct to slow, light, and indirect, which would be a float. So playing with those three things, slow or fast, light or heavy, direct or indirect. And as you play with those different types of touch, really being creative in that and asking your partner which ones feel good. We all sort of have a core theme that we are, or something that we really like. For example, I'm more of a glide, but sometimes I can really move into a press, which is a much different energy. And if I do it fast, then it's a thrust. I'm really thrusting, like right now I'm thrusting with my voice. You can also thrust with your touch. That would be like a percussive. Here's a type of thrust. It's very direct. So those types of, all those different types of touch sensitize the body in different ways and can really add variety and spice to all of your touch skill. And these are really important. We don't even realize that during love play that we have all this variety and we have all this power in our hands. I often say that your hands are your greatest asset in bed. So really knowing how to use them, and they also save you money because you don't have to buy anything. You just have these are your tools right here, your hands. And all the wonderful, magnificent types of pleasure that your hands can bring you by learning these touch skills, and that your hands are also an extension of your heart. So allow your heart to really extend out to your partner, whoever you're touching, or to yourself if you're self-pleasuring. Really be with that. Really allow your hands and your heart to connect, and allow your heart to expand out into the world through your touch.